Hello students, this is Mrs. Miller, and the purpose of this video is to share my thinking as I read Papa's Parrot. The first thing I'm going to do is read the questions so I know what kind of information to look for as I'm reading the story. Most of the story takes place at the blank. When does the conflict in the story begin? The author probably starts the story when Harry is 7 to show that blank. Mr. Tillian's conflict is that blank. When does Mr. Tillian buy the parrot? Harry's conflict is caused by his blank. The climax of the story occurs when blank. Okay, now I'm going to read the story and I will stop and share my thinking as I read. Though his father was fat and merely owned a candy and nut shop, Henry Tillian liked his papa. Harry stopped liking candy and nuts when he was around 7, but in spite of this, he and Mr. Tillian had remained friends and were still friends in the year Harry turned 12. Well, I'm going to stop here and share my thinking. First thing I see is that they use the name Henry here, and then they switch to Harry. So I'm willing to bet that that was a typo and that it's supposed to be Harry. In fact, as I look through the paragraphs here, I see that the name of the main character is Harry. So please know that this is saying Harry likes his papa, okay? Now, I do wonder, why did Harry stop liking candy and nuts? I wonder if it's because he felt like candy and nuts were why his father was fat, and I wonder if his father got made fun of. Those are just some thoughts I'm having. It says that they were friends in the year Harry turned 12, so I'm wondering, does something happen that's going to threaten the friendship between father and son? Let's continue. Second paragraph. For years after school, Harry had always stopped in to see his father at work. Many of Harry's friends stopped there too, to spend a few cents choosing penny candy from the giant bins or to sample Mr. Tillian's latest batch of roasted peanuts. Mr. Tillian looked forward to seeing his son and his son's friends every day. He liked the company. This makes me wonder, is Mr. Tillian lonely? He wants to see his son and his son's friends, and I wonder if he has friends his own age that he likes to see and talk to. Next paragraph. When Harry entered junior high school, though, he didn't come by the candy and nut shop as often, nor did his friends. They were older and they had more spending money. They went to a burger place. They played video games. They shopped for records. None of them were much interested in candy and nuts anymore. This reminds me of how I see my students. My students grow up and get older and older, and by the time my students are in high school, they would rather go to a burger place than go to a candy and nut shop, or they would rather play video games. Goodness, I know that my middle school students, some of them are the same way. A new group of children came to Mr. Tillian's shop now, but not Harry Tillian and his friends. The year Harry turned 12 was also the year Mr. Tillian got a parrot. He went to a pet store one day and bought one for more money than he could really afford. He brought the parrot to his shop, set its cage near a sign for maple clusters, and named it Rocky. I wonder why Mr. Tillian went ahead and spent more money than he was able to afford on this parrot. Maybe he was thinking the parrot would be like a companion to him, and so he thought it was worth the extra money. Rocky was good company for Mr. Tillian. When business was slow, Mr. Tillian would turn on a small color television he had sitting in a corner, and he and Rocky would watch the soap operas. Rocky liked to scream when the romantic music came on, and Mr. Tillian would yell at him to shut up, but they seemed to enjoy themselves. So I see here that Rocky is Mr. Tillian's pet, and Rocky is being used for company. The more Mr. Tillian grew to like his parrot, the more he talked to it instead of people, the more embarrassed Harry became. Harry would stroll past the shop on his way somewhere else, and he'd take a quick look inside to see what his dad was doing. Mr. Tillian was always talking to the bird, so Harry kept walking. That reminds me of the way that some young people seem that they're really embarrassed by their parents. That's the same way right now that Harry is embarrassed by his father. At home, things were different. Harry and his father joked with each other at the dinner table as they always had. Mr. Tillian teasing Harry about his smelly socks, Harry teasing Mr. Tillian about his blubbery stomach. At home, things seemed all right. But one day, Mr. Tillian became ill. He had been at work, unpacking boxes of caramels, when he had grabbed his chest and fallen over on top of the candy. A customer had found him, and he was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. Well, first of all, that reminds me of when people have a heart attack. I wonder if that's the case here. And then I have a text-to-self connection about being in an ambulance and running to the hospital. I remember last school year when I was in the hospital, I had to be transported from one hospital to another, so I had to ride in an ambulance. And it's a little nerve-wracking when you know that you're in an ambulance going to the hospital. Mr. Tillian couldn't leave the hospital. He lay in bed, tubes in his arms, and he worried about his shop. New shipments of candy and nuts would be arriving. Rocky would be hungry. Who would take care of things? I remember last school year again when I had to stay in the hospital. I was there for 80 days, and I wondered who would take care of things here at school, who would take care of things at my house since I couldn't take care of it. So I know how Mr. Tillian felt. He was very worried about these things because Rocky and his store, those are things that are important to him. Harry said he would. Harry told his father that he would go to the store every day after school and unpack boxes. He would sort out all the candy and nuts. He would even feed Rocky. So the next morning, while Mr. Tillian lay in his hospital bed, Harry took the shop key to school with him. After school, he left his friends and walked to the empty shop alone. In all the days of his life, Harry had never seen the shop closed after school. Harry didn't even remember what the closed sign looked like. The key stuck in the lock 3 times, and inside he had to search all the walls for the light switch. The shop was just as his father had left it. Even the caramels were still spilled on the floor. Henry bent down and picked them up one by one, dropping them back in the boxes. The bird in its cage watched silently. Harry opened the new boxes his father hadn't gotten to. Peppermints, jawbreakers, toffee creams, strawberry kisses. Harry traveled from bin to bin, putting the candies where they belonged. "Hello!" Harry jumped, spilled a box of jawbreakers. Ah, that tells me that the hello sound, whoever said hello or whatever said hello, startled Harry. That's why he jumped. "Hello, Rocky!" Harry stared at the parrot. He had forgotten it was there. The bird had been so quiet, and Harry had been thinking only of the candy. "Hello," Harry said. "Hello, Rocky," answered the parrot. Harry walked slowly over to the cage. The parrot's food cup was empty. Its water was dirty. The bottom of the cage was a mess. Harry carried the cage into the back room. "Hello, Rocky!" "Is that all you can say, you dumb bird?" Harry mumbled. Based on the word choice and the way that he mumbles it, I know that Harry is very annoyed with the bird. He thinks the bird is annoying. He calls it dumb because it's just saying the same thing over and over again. The bird said nothing else. Harry cleaned the bottom of the cage, refilled the food and water cups, then put the cage back in its place and resumed sorting the candy. "Where's Harry?" Harry looked up. "Where's Harry?" Harry stared at the parrot. "Where's Harry?" Chills ran down Harry's back. What could the bird mean? It was like something from the Twilight Zone. "Where's Harry?" Harry swallowed and said, I'm here, you stupid bird." "You stupid bird," said the parrot. "Oh, I just realized something. The bird always repeats what it hears. So maybe when his dad was sitting and talking to the bird, his dad often asked, 'Where's Harry?' Oh. Well, at least he's got one thing straight," thought Harry. Miss him! Where's Harry, you stupid bird?" You see that? You see how he's just repeating everything he's ever heard? Harry stood with a handful of peanuts. "What?" he asked. "Where's Harry?" said the parrot. "I'm here, you stupid bird! I'm here!" Harry yelled. He threw the peppermints at the cage, and the bird screamed and clung to its perch. Harry sobbed. "I'm here." The tears were coming. Harry leaned over the glass counter. "Papa!" Harry buried his face in his arms. I think that at this point, Harry realizes that his father had been asking where he was, and he said that he missed him. That's why the bird is saying it. "Where's Harry?" repeated the bird. Harry sighed and wiped his face on his sleeve. He watched the parrot. He understood now. Someone had been saying for a long time, "Where's Harry? Miss him." Harry finished his unpacking, then swept the floor of the shop. He checked the furnace so the bird wouldn't get cold. Then he left to go visit his papa. So I think Harry realizes that I know Harry realizes that his father misses him and loves him so much and often would ask where he was, which is why the bird is repeating that. Please, now that I've read it and shared my thinking, you go ahead and read through the story and think about what you're thinking and then respond to the questions.